Hello everybody and welcome. Today we are going to start the next step in our journey to creating our own template. Last time I said I don't really like the fact that all these text sizes are different, and we will be creating our own title block. And we're going to start off by doing one for the GA drawings. So after you've opened up a title block, or if you go to your Windows, type in template, you can open up the template editor. I'm just going to say create new. This is going to be a graphical template, and that'll open up a brand new template window. I'm going to take this one and just move it off to the side where I can still see it, because I might want to reference it every now and then. Let's just take this out of the way for a wee second. I'm going to switch over to an A4. I'm also going to say edit, and I'm going to have a look at my A4. We've got a width of 297. We've also got a margin of 5, which means we've got 287 total width. So if we bring this back in, double click on the background somewhere, 287, that is as wide as we can go, template wise. Let's make this just 50 for now, get a little bit smaller. And we do not want margins, that's basically over here. The 10, we want this to sit flush to the sides as we will be spacing them ourselves. Great. Now we've got a nice long block in which to work. I'm also going to go and say I'd like these to be 1 millimeter. And if I zoom in now, our dot matrix will be 1 millimeter in distance. We're going to start off by adding a row. So if you go up here, you can add header, row, footer, and page footer. The center one is what we want, is a row. Next, we've got to take what type of template this is, and this is going to be drawing. Let's make this a little bit bigger. As you see, once you stick it up to the top, you actually end up making your entire thing bigger. So once that's done and you've got a good size, for what we need to do next, we need to decide on things like text sizes. We need to decide how thick these should be printed, and we need to decide what information we would like to portray. If we head over back to Tekla and we close out of this, we don't really want to do anything here, discard, and we open up our document manager. The information we will be portraying firstly would be it's a GA, so we would like the GA's number to be in here. Now I do not want my GAs to be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 as their marks suggest, like I would with a profile or a assembly drawing. Instead, I'd like to use something different, either the name itself or one of the titles. And that's so that I can make, say, multiple types of drawings. I could make a SK, which is a sketch that I can use to give information to the engineer or architect. I would also like to make non-sequential drawings, or I would like to be able to add a plan drawing later and have all my plans be sequential but not interfere with my elevation drawings numbering. So we're going to shift this over and use something else, maybe name for now, or title, or we'll see when we get to it. Let's take any of these drawings and open up our printing settings. In here, if we go to line properties, you'll find that baseline width is 0.1 millimeters. And then we've got thicknesses. So this will be 0.1, 0.3, 0.5. We've got different thickness lines, and that is directly associated with the color. So if we have a look, our drawing border is a blue, and that is because it's a very thick line. Okay, so let's settle on back to this. we set our main box, whatever the main box is. This is going to be blue. Go in here, call this blue. All sub lines inside of it is going to be green. Great. And then all text is going to be black. Now, aside from all text being black, I'd also like all text to have the same size and style to them, with obvious exceptions being things we want to be more important. So we'll need to decide what those sizes are and which items do we find more important that we would like to portray their size differently. My project number and my project name. These two are the most important information and I'd like them to be nice and big. We're also going to do the drawing number. The rest of the text, in this case I think a 2mm would be perfect. Let's go and see what text do we need to have inside of our title block. I think something like revisions, so rev. Rev is going to go somewhere. Generally, it's in the bottom right-hand corner. So let's take that ref and take that blue, stick it right in the bottom right corner. Take ref, put it over there. Now we need to get Tekla to pull in the correct information. And this cannot be done with a simple adding text. Let's just get this text down to a 2mm. Arial narrow, that's fine. There we go. Okay, this will be a value field. So if we go here, we need to find out which value field we would like to show. Revision, checked by, created by. You would like to have the ref mark number, so mark end action. This is very big and very much in the corner, so we are going to say Arial, this needs to be number 2 with ratio of very wide, no thank you. We would like this to be Arial narrow. Let's just apply that. Go find this one. Even though there is no Arial narrow, this one is written as Arial narrow. So I'm just going to copy this because I would like mine to be that style as well. And I'm going to say paste it in there. Excellent. No slant, no width ratio, it's 1:1. Simple Arial narrow black text. Cool. This one the same. It's exactly all of this stuff. And I'm going to say set for default. And this one over here as well. I'd like to set this as default. The length of the characters is the number of characters we would be able to enter into this field before it gets shortened or cut off. I'm going to say 3 because, well, actually I only need 2 for a revision. I don't see myself ever having more than that, but just in case, 3 it is. Let's apply that and close. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just going to go along and do the same for all of the rest. Now, before I start skipping along, I just want to show you something very important. If we bring this in, and you say you want to use the drawn by, you can double click on that and just go check what did they actually use up here. Right click, copy that, so that when you put yours in, you can just paste this. No real reason to start off on your own. You can say, right, the formula is there, Control V to paste it, and now you've got that up there. So let's fast forward. And welcome back. So what I've done here is basically put in a space for a client logo. I've also got the basic builder location, address, town, region, and postal number. And all of this stuff comes from the project properties. If you head into your model, let's just close on this. Go down to project properties. So we've got a project number, we've got the name, simple structure. We've got our builder or our main contractor, our client. The description of structure as object, designer, doesn't really matter. Location, Camden, address, let's call this 123 Building Road, PO Box, city, Gauteng, region, Krugersdorp, or you could say something like city is Cape Town, and then the region would be Cape. Postal address is just any four or numbers or whatever your zip code would be. Country, we can leave this as South Africa. And the rest of the stuff I'm not going to be too bothered about. This is basically just more information about the project. According to our title block here, all that client information will just be shown up here. Next is my own information. So logo, written nice and big, providing a fortified education, just some light banter, whatever information you would like about your company, an email address, phone numbers, all that type of stuff. Just shove it in there. Then over here, I've got both my project number as well as my project name. So the first two fields from my project properties both get put in here with just a dash in between them. If you add a plus, and you can just add the next get value to get multiple, you'll have seen basically I just stuck in both of these separately. Then I opened up project name, copied the formula at the top, and then came and pasted into this one. Titles 1 to 3, another title, and then I've got the GA mark as well as the revision mark. So my drawing number and my mark will go together in one with a nice little dash in between. You can cancel that for now. Now, aside from that, I've specifically made these to be 50 wide, 50 wide, and that's so that I can easily break them off. Now, they are currently, all three of these boxes are in one template, but I can just as easily save 3 different templates, get rid of the unnecessary stuff so that they are nice and small. Now I'm going to say this is 16, 16, and let's make this 20, although it'll never be 20. Now it's going to tell me, oh, minimum is 60. Yes, do I want to apply it? Sure. And it's going to say the minimum width is 160. Do I want to apply that? Yes, I'd like to. Next, I'm going to take all of this stuff again and just slide it on up to the top of the page. And then this will allow me to shorten down my page. I'm going to delete that just for a second. Let's first concentrate on getting all of this down. Again, 16 and 16. Finally, I've gotten it down to 16. Let's re-add our image. There is a little bit of fiddling about this. You should be able to easily figure it out. Let's move this a little bit to the side. Go take that. Aspect ratio. Oh, I'd like this to be 16. Apply. And that is now 19. Let's bring this in. One more, because I know it's nice and square. Great. I've got that there. Okay. I can, of course, just make it as wide as I want to, but I'd like to keep it more or less format that it was. I'm also going to more or less just keep 3 sizes. That is going to be nice and big just to take up space because I didn't know what else to put in there. It took me long enough to figure out some catchy phrase to put in. These two are the more important information, so they get to be 3mm each, while the rest is all 2mm. And of course, because this email address is super long, it got stuck down right in the bottom. Once that's all done, I'm going to say save as, and I've already created a GA template, and I'm going to just overwrite this. And that's mostly because I'm not a particular fan of the one that I originally created. So let's open this up. There we go. If we take this into drawing, this is not going to work. So let's get this back to there. Now, firstly, as you can see, that doesn't work. Secondly, this works fine. There's nothing written in here. Let's go to Document Manager. Because titles 1, 2, and 3 is T1, 2, 3, there should be something in there. Name is 3D view, so that should be displayed in the name. Let's move this off to the side. So now I've got this whole thing to manage with. Firstly, you can see these little stars, and that's because my title is longer than this thing supports. Now, you can take that away, or you can add more space. So in this case, how about if we take these and move them to the side, grab all that, move them all to there. The logo can be that side, and we're going to say, right, 30. Yeah, 30 should do. Let's save this, head on back to our drawing, and if we reopen it, it's knocked over to the other side. So let's head on back here. This is 20, so if that's 20, let's make this 15. And we'll see about the logo once we've made something to put in there. This one over here, well, that did not appear very nicely. Let's see. I've added a new one in, or an old one back. Let's do that. Now let's make this a little bit shorter, and see how this one comes out. I'll probably have to completely recreate the logo into something that'll fit nicely in here, but excellent, that one works a lot better. It's still printed as a black background. That's something that I'll have to look into fixing later. This stuff over here, that can just stay where they are. Now, let's go to the important part, our fields over here. If we have a look at the drawing, you'll see that our 1, 2, 3, 4 simple structure does appear nicely. In fact, that's probably the only one that appears nicely. The rest of the stuff like the titles, is not appearing at all. So let's go find out why that is. This is getValueProject.oneTitle, and that's where we've got the problem. This is looking at the project title and not actually at the drawing title. This needs to get fixed. If we go to drawings and we say, right, title 1, that should be title 1. And if you look here, there's no project, that's just title 1. Apply. Let's save this and reopen the drawing, and now that should appear. Here we go, 3D view. I basically added a title where there should not have, well, added a project to the title where it should not have been. If I take out the project, go to that one, take out the project, they should all show properly. Great, there's a date. Is that 3D1? So 3D1 is what we said we'd like our drawing number to be. And therefore we can see our drawing number shows up with the title, even though in here it says name. Next, mark, which is 1, is showing up as something different. That's project name. Let's delete that. Save it. Reopen that. There we go. So mark gives us G space in brackets 1. So G is because it's a type G drawing, 1 because that's the first drawing of the G type. So what I'm going to do next is get this over here and delete this completely. I'll go in here and I'm going to say, yeah, I don't really like the name. I'd like to replace that with title. And then I'd like to keep the dash and I'd like to keep the ref mark. Apply that. And I think I'm going to delete this box around it. And I'm going to say, let's center this to the right. Let's save this and have a wee glance at what it looks like now. We've got our project number, name, drawing number, or drawing name, titles 2 and 3. We don't actually need to have anything in titles 2 and 3, but just having them there can be nice. And we've got the drawing called 3D1D. So 3D number 1, revision D. And we can actually incorporate this whole thing into this as well. Just make it a little bit wider, add that extra stuff in there. Easy enough. But I don't actually like to cramp everything up together, so I think I'm going to keep this at the bottom left, and I'll just rework this to look the same as mine. Now, if we go and say template editor, just get this open. First thing we're going to do here is just save as. Let's head on over to our Tekla structures, get into our template, and over here we are going to say revision. Now that we've got this as revision, you'll see that this is still only the original. I'm just going to close that up. Now if we head on over to the layout, I can go and say delete that, and what I'd like to have as a secondary, that one, stuck to that corner, close. So I've got both of my own in there. Now over here, we've got a basic height of 16, and that's more or less what we end up having with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of 2 mil high text with a 1 mil space in between them, total of 16. Whatever we do here, we do not want it to be bigger than 16. Okay, so now that that's been done, we just need to get this one line down. In order to do that, we're going to come over to our revision. We're going to open up this row. You can even go to the side over here, double click it from there, or right click properties to get into this. Then we go to the advanced, and in here we want to change this formula. We only want to get the last 4. We want to check this is still correct, and okay. So everything is still the same. We're just looking for the last 4 numbers, and if we just change over to something else again here, cause it regen, you'll see that we've only got the last 4 in here, giving us a nice little revision that's exactly the same height as all of these. I think this is good enough for now, and then from here we can move on to the next one, do the assemblies and do the same for the parts. Okay, well that should be everything for today. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and I'll see you all next time.